to be able to just make a choice on your own and just be able to speak for yourself.
This one's wife. Sucks to be spare. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Prince Harry moaned about being the spare, in terms of being the spare as an heir to the throne. As you will recall, his autobiography was called Spare. He exhibited his envy in relation to his brother, not least with regard to the number of sausages received. But with Harry, part of the reason given for him looking to, in effect, exit the royal family revolved around the issue of him being the spare. And the narcissist that is this one's wife will have exploited that to her advantage, because lacking emotional empathy, the narcissist comes along and utilises the victims, the primary victims' vulnerabilities against them. And Harry's defiance and resentment in relation to being the spare is something that he will have articulated to her, and her narcissism will have picked up on that and used it against him. Used it to suggest, you don't need to be the spare. You can forge your own path with me. Come across the ocean. And as I predicted many, many moons ago, that's what happened. And she lured him away to California. I predicted that in parts passim. The reason I was able to do so was a consequence of my understanding of the dynamic between the narcissist and the victim. But as we have seen, Harry has moved from being the spare in relation to the British throne to being the spare in his marriage. It comes as no surprise to me, nor to those of you who now understand narcissism, because it has to revolve around this one's wife. As the narcissist, her narcissism causes her to believe that she's the most important person, and every single person around her is simply an appliance, which includes her husband. She believes that she loves him because the narcissism tells her that, but her behaviour demonstrates that she doesn't, and also because we know that she is a narcissist, we know that she's incapable of love because she has no emotional empathy. She simply uses him. He is the only reason that this one's wife is known by the vast majority of people on this planet. He is the only reason why she's been able to access wealth and networks. He is the only reason why people continue to tolerate her attendance. And yet, we now see more and more how she treats him as the spare in their marriage, and how she believes that she's the main draw. And we've been subjected to another example of that with their attendance in New York. I showed you this footage in an earlier video, but it's worth revisiting to look at a different aspect of it, aside from the fact that nobody turned up to see them arrive at the venue for the Time 100 summit. Have a look at the footage again.
Meghan, can you stop for that? Can I get a stop for Meghan? Meghan, can you stop for that? I told you it's too far. I'm leaving. I'm out. Nope, I'm up.
Now, I've clipped the footage to make it shorter to focus on the material aspect, which is the arrival of the Duchess of Delusion and the Prince of Pink Pancakes. You'll have seen that this one's wife exits the vehicle. There's some kind of underling or security holding the door open for her. Harry has come round from the other side of the vehicle. So it's been organised so that this one's wife would face the crowds if there were actually any. And she doesn't look at Harry. Her eyes are focused on the employee and going in for the hug, direct assertion of control. And you'll notice that Harry reached out to her, expecting the usual hand grab that takes place. He's been conditioned and trained to anticipate that. His right hand comes forward and he's ignored because he doesn't matter. He's ignored because he's not, in that precise moment, on this one's wife's radar. Remember, the narcissist operates second to second to second. Who's on the radar? Get them under control, keep them under control. Next moment. Who's on the radar? Get them under control, keep them under control. Next moment. Who's on the radar? Threat to control, nullify threat to control. Next moment, and so on and so forth. So in that precise moment, Harry doesn't register. And this one's wife is focused on the non-intimate secondary source in front of her and facade management as directed by her narcissism. Harry reaches for her hand, is ignored, and therefore he has to result in looking to tuck his trousers to do something with his hands to make himself feel less stupid because he's embarrassed by his wife ignoring him. And because he remains off the radar, she doesn't even turn to acknowledge him. Now, the simple fact is, why is Harry there? He's not being interviewed. She's the one that's being interviewed. She's been invited to the time event. So why has Harry bothered to come along? Why doesn't he stay at home and look after the children? The fact is, one suspects that it was a condition of her attendance that Harry be there, because of course he is legitimate royalty. And yet, she needs to make it all about her. She cannot tolerate the fact that people would be more interested in Harry than her. Unfortunately for both of them, there's nobody there to actually greet them in the sense of crowds because nobody's that interested. And she doesn't turn to Harry, she walks straight ahead, gives her wave to imaginary fans, even though there's just two nonplussed women stood there, and Harry follows afterwards. He also points with his hand as if to say, I've got to go down there, have I? Like the good ginger poodle that he is, and follows this one's wife in her overlarge trousers, and it's only at the point of entry into the building that she turns to make sure that he's on his lead and that he's following her in. Harry is a prince by birth. Now, in the eyes of many, that doesn't mean anything, because they're not interested in royalty. But for those that are, he's a legitimate royal. And for certain people, this makes him of importance. And yet, watching that bit of footage and seeing the way that this one's wife emerges from the Range Rover, and Harry, who has to walk round from the other side, is left hanging by his wife who doesn't take his hand. He adjusts his pants and then ends up following her as usual. And she only acknowledges him right at the end as they enter the building. It's all about her. She's the most important person. She's the star of the show. She's what matters. She forgets, of course, that she only matters because of the man that's following her behind. And Harry is a petulant individual, and he will not like the fact that he's been relegated in this manner. It will sting. Whether he wakes up and truly realises this, because it's happened on numerous occasions where she's barged into his handshakes, taken flowers out of his hands, as always walks in front of him, makes sure she's seen ahead of him, interrupts his conversations and so forth. But here's another example for Harry to wake up to realise this isn't an equal partnership, far from it. He has become the spare in his own marriage, and it's exemplified in this short piece of video footage, because after all, for Harry, it absolutely sucks to be the spare. And he's made the spare by virtue of this one's wife's narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.